An old man is telling a story to his young apprentice. Once there was a supreme overlord of the chaotic Murim, Manhwa, also known as the Heavenly Destroyer. He had conquered almost all of the lands. But then one day suddenly he disappeared and his followers became scattered and divided. That's a wrong story. I was betrayed. I, the Heavenly Destroyer, was betrayed by my own 4 men. They who once swore on their lives to serve me tried to assassinate me. Then the old man looks at his apprentice and shouts at him. You, who has learned all that I have to teach, you must kill all the 4 bastards and avenge your master. Do you understand? But the boy, unmoved, simply said, Master, you have told me this story 1,000 times, today itself you have repeated it 12 times already. The old man seems surprised. Oh, is that so? But still tell me, what will you do after you avenge your master? The boy replied, I will open a big dumpling joint and eat jumbo dumplings all day. But seeing his master frown, he changed his reply and said, That's what cowards will do, eat dumplings, but I, after avenging you my master, will bring a heavenly destruction sect to form a glory and conquer the Murim, of course. On hearing this, old master became very happy and said, Yes, yes, indeed that is what I expect from you. Now listen, I've taught you everything about the 12 divine heavenly destruction techniques. Now finally I want to tell you a secret, so listen carefully. The boy yawned and old master started repeating his same story of the heavenly destroyer. Before the night was over, the old master died, and his disciple immediately set forth to the Middle Kingdom to carry out his will. His name is Gangryong. But soon Gangryong learns in a tavern that the 4 who he seeks are long dead. A girl called Yerin, who served in an inn, tells him, they were known as the 4 heavenly kings. They fought among themselves for leadership and died. The heavenly destruction sect fell apart as well. This happened before I was born. Everyone knows about it. You must be living in a cave all these years or something. Hearing this, Gangryong is shocked. He starts wondering what he is going to do now. Time passes. 1 year later, in an old lady's tavern, 5 goons enter and they sit down and order water. On another table, a lady with 2 guards finish their meal and leave. Watching them go, the goons also leave the tavern and start following them. Inside, the owner of the tavern, the old lady, calls her errand boy and says, Listen, the lady with 2 men who just left forgot their parcel. Since you have quick feet, you take it to them and be back soon. The fat boy takes the parcel and runs out. Not far from the tavern, on the way, the 5 goons had attacked the 2 men and the lady. The 2 men were bleeding and lady was shivering with fear. The goons were about to kill the men, but suddenly out of nowhere the errand boy comes running and hands the parcel to the lady saying, You forgot this at the tavern, I'll be off now. But he was stopped by the goons and they were about to give him a beating. Just then a stranger interrupts in between. He says, Don't bother taking turns, all of you can come at me at once. The strongest of the goons attacks him, but he moves quick and lands a solid punch and kicks that goon. The goon spits blood, but he stands back and this time grabs the stranger and clutches his head with his strong fingers and says, I am Dang, the martial artist who reached the level of diamond body. And flips the slag body of the stranger on the ground. All the goons start laughing. Then they hear someone speak from behind, Did you have to beat up a weak kid like that? On top of that, you guys even laughed as you watched. It was the fat errand boy. He then asks the lady, Do you mind if I teach your companions a lesson? Astonished lady replies, They are not with us. 2 goons come up behind the errand boy saying, Have you lost? But before they could finish their sentence, their body lay on the ground motionless. No one there believed what they had just seen. Then the fat boy smashed the skulls of 2 other goons too, but then the big one grabs him from behind, but before he could squish him, the fat boy hits him with his elbow and the big goon shrieks in pain on his knees. The fat boy smiles and says, Diamond body, huh? Then he shouts, Heavenly destruction, evil negating palm strike, and lands a vigorous blow of his palm on the body of the big goon. The body of the big goon flies and hits the rocks behind. The mountain crumbles and his body is buried inside a pile of rocks. Well, since he has a diamond body, he should be up and about in few hours, says the fat boy. The lady, seeing all this, thinks, How does that fat man know the supreme overlord, the heavenly destroyer's martial arts? The fat boy looks over the wounds of the stranger lying nearby and mends his broken body. He'll regain his strength in 10 minutes, says the boy. Then he turns to the lady and the men who stood there shocked and silent and said, If you ever drop by that tavern again, Please don't tell anyone I used martial arts." Saying this, he runs away, leaving them awestruck. When he reaches the tavern, the old lady asks him, "What took you so long? And I see you've been fighting, eh? I see blood on you," she shouts. "Yerin. Look, he's been in a fight while he was out." Hearing her, a girl comes out of the kitchen and yells, "Hey, Gangryong, you promised me you won't use martial arts without my permission when I gave you the job a year ago. Did you forget?" Gangryong replies, "I was rushing back and fell, that's all." Yerin says, "Come, I'll fix you. If you have to fight, at least win. Didn't you used to say you've learned some divine heavenly destroy skills? Don't get beaten up while you're out on a delivery." Meanwhile, somewhere in the town not far from the tavern, an assassin was being hired by a woman. She showed her a picture and said, "My husband is having an affair with this Miss Song. This bitch seduced my husband because she is after my family's wealth. Kill her for me, I'll give you extra pay." Next day, in the tavern, a errand boy Gangryong was serving the customers. He was trying to eat some leftovers when he got smacked on his head by the old lady, who said, "What would I feed the four-legged pigs, if the two-legged one leaves nothing behind?" Yerin comes out of the kitchen and asks the old lady, "Where are you going, mom?" Old lady says, "I have a meeting in town and I'll probably stay out tonight." Gang says, "Bye granny." The old woman retorts, "Don't call me that, call me manager or big sis. And if you see me in town, act like you don't know me or you are dead meat, understand?" Gangryong nods quietly and the old lady leaves. Yerin then says, "Hey, I told you not to eat leftovers. Let me know when you're hungry, didn't I? Wait, I'll make some jumbo dumplings for you quickly before mom comes." Later, Gang goes to town to make some deliveries. While returning, he sees the granny and hides, but then he sees a suspicious man and follows him inside a hotel. That suspicious man was the assassin. He was there to kill Miss Sung, who was there sitting in the hotel with a man who was swooning at her. That man was the husband of the lady who hired the assassin. The assassin threw poisonous darts from his mouth towards Miss Sung, but Gangryong stops them in mid-air. The assassin rises and shouts, Who is that lump of lard? I couldn't sense him at all even when he was right on top of me." While Gang says to Miss Sung, "He's after you, big sis. Do you want me to teach him a lesson?" Miss Sung, who is actually the old lady of the tavern in makeup, pushes him aside saying, "Beat it, you fool." The assassin hits Gang with his anchor chain, but Gang smoothly kicks it away. "My 1,000 shadow anchor can smash a boulder into dust, yet this fatty simply kicked it away." Then Gang smashes his skull and he bites the dust. Then Gang realizes he hit much too hard and the whole building crashes down in water. The man who was swooning at Miss Sung sees her real face as the makeup had washed away and her false teeth fell down and becomes speechless. The granny turns to Gangryong. She is very angry at him as because of him she couldn't fool the guy. Gangryong apologizes but she starts beating him. Not far from the town lived a band of mysterious fixers who called themselves the Bewitching Flowers. The fixers are those who used to kill their targets in a way that it looked like an accident and no one is there to blame. They are the builders of snares and traps. Mistress Yu, the leader of the Bewitching Flowers, was also known as Architect of Death. Mistress Yu had just finished up setting a trap on a bridge. She said, "All done, the contraption is set." The bridge would collapse under the weight of a single squirrel. Her minions couldn't stop praising her work. Hyuk asked her minions, "Where's our target?" "He'll be here in 10 minutes. Suddenly, like a flash, a errand boy Gangryong ran across the bridge and past them. "What was that? What just went past us? Was it a pig?" they cried. Miss Yu said, "A pig crossed the bridge and it's still standing." "How can that be?" Saying this, she stepped on the bridge to check and the bridge instantly fell. Miss Yu's minions saved her from falling. On the other side of the bridge their target was watching everything. He then left. Gangryong, after completing his delivery orders, was returning. On the way the fixers again had set a trap for their target after a lot of effort. "All done. Good thing I was prepared for another contraption on his expected route, just in case," Miss Yu said to her minions. One of her girls asked, "Back there on the bridge, could he have been a Murim GOSU instead of a pig?" It's said that GOSU don't leave footprints when they walk on snow. A GOSU is a highly skilled martial arts master. Miss Yu told her, "You silly. These are just made up stuff by martial arts goons." But then again, Gangryong came running and passed over their trap unharmed. Yu shouted, "Hey, stop. Get back over here," and Gangryong again passed over their trap unharmed and came near them. Yu wondered this was not supposed to happen and kicked a pebble where she had set the trap. The ground instantly collapsed. She grabbed Gung Ryong from his collars and yelled, "Who the hell are you?" But till then their target had reached there. Their target was a skilled dangerous killer. Looking at him, all the fixers, scared to death, started running. The killer shouted, "Who says I'll let you run?" and came running unsheathing his sword, but before the killer could reach the girls, he was stopped by Gung Ryong, who beat the shit out of him and quickly ran away. The fixer girls, watching everything hiding behind the bushes, were saying, "I told ya, this fat lard ball is an amazing GOSU." Mistress Yu seemed amazed and wondered, "What should I do now?" She along with her minions followed Gung Ryong to the tavern and hid there to watch Gung Ryong, who was eating happily sitting with Yerin. One of the girls said, "He is already taken, poor Miss Yu." Miss Yu was herself watching Gung Ryong with Yerin. She became jealous and angry on seeing Gung with another girl. She said to herself, "I am gonna set you up with a super cruel contraption, that even ghosts would be afraid. Just wait, you pig." So my dear folks, the first part ends here. Soon I'll be bringing you next part of this amazing manhwa. Till then, take it easy, bye bye, God bless.